Good morning guys, and welcome to the middle of the bush on the side of the road somewhere down south. So I'm on my way to check out a beach I've been wanting to camp at for literally years, but just never found my way down there. But this particular weekend I was already down south for work, so I thought, you know what, let's take a couple of extra days and finally go and check out this beach. So I was on the road pretty late last night, so I just fired up the Wikicamps app on my phone to find a free camp. This one popped up called the Pallinup River Nature Reserve. Super nice spot, plenty of room for lots of campers. It's right on a nice little riverbank down here, and just a great spot all around. Rubbish bins for your trash, which is a really nice touch, and of course it's a free camp as well. So now I'm just going to pack up camp, get on the road. I think it's about a half an hour drive from where I am now to where I want to camp. So yeah, pretty keen to check it out. Welcome to a beautiful strip of beach somewhere on the south coast of WA. We are the only ones around, which is fantastic, probably given the weather's not the best, a bit cloudy, but overcast. My biggest decision now is, do I want to camp here at this end, which is probably the better end of the beach, or suss out the other end of the beach, which looks like it could be a little bit more sheltered. But if that's my biggest problem of the day, then this trip is off to a great start. So I've just pulled the car down the other end of the beach, but I looked in my left-hand side mirror and I've driven all the way over here with my canopy door wide open. So I don't know what I was thinking, but it seems like everything is still in place, which is good news. Must have driven nice and sturdy on my giant expedition from the other side of the beach. So I suppose even if I lost something, I could just walk back and pick it up. It's not that far. In terms of wind, the whole reason we moved down here, it does seem a little bit better than the other end of the beach, probably thanks to all this protection we have with the hill face here, and also this rocky outcrop that goes into the water. It is a nicer end of the beach down the other side there, but yeah, I'll definitely take shelter from the wind any day of the week. So now I'll just move my car into a more suitable position and start getting set up. Here's a bit of a camping tip that I'm sure I'm pretty late to the party on, but I'll share it with you nonetheless. Whenever I come camping and I buy packets of bacon or ham in these style of packets and I use a bit and have some left over, I used to always get my roll of Glad wrap out and just like go around the packet to try and keep it fresh. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, but now I just bring a box of Ziploc bags along with me. That way, whenever there's some leftovers in a packet like this, I can just take a resealable bag, take my leftover ham or bacon this morning, chuck it into a resealable bag. That way I don't have to worry about the Glad wrap. Seal her up. And now that takes up a lot less space in the original packet, and it's gonna keep my ham nice and fresh. Chuck it in the fridge and away we go. Here's my my bacon from this morning in a similar situation. So anyway, game changer for me, but probably something you guys already know about. So I just made some simple toasted sandwiches. It's super nice and easy. The day's getting on and I'm pretty hungry, so just wanted to slap together something nice and simple, and toasted sandwiches never let me down. I do just wrap my toasted sandwiches in alfoil or aluminium foil for the last kind of few minutes of cooking, and I just find like that way you can really make sure that cheese is nice and melted. Sounding like a massive toasted sandwich snob, I know, but that's the way I like my toasted sandwiches. In other news, I have now relocated back down to the original side of the beach. I'm feeling so indecisive this trip. I think that's the problem when you have like two really good options. You'll always wonder if you should have camped in the other spot. Whereas if you pull in somewhere and there's just like that one spot left, at least you know like that's the spot for you. But I have left the tent packed up, so who knows? I might change my mind and go back to the other side. So we've had a bit of a catastrophe already. I was just sitting down here enjoying my lunch, halfway through, got one toasty to go, and my chair's basically collapsed on me. So we've lost a couple of pieces that normally hold the chair attached just here. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera. So this piece normally kind of sits in the middle, and this bolt goes through there, but had no end on it. It's just fallen out, and I've almost plummeted to my death, but it's okay. I managed to stay on board the chair. So anyway, might be due for a new camp chair soon, I reckon, or I'll just fix this one and pop that bolt back through. Actually, from memory, I think even this isn't the factory bolt. We might have already replaced this at some point or another. Either way, it's not enough to keep me from toasty number 2, so fingers crossed my chair can stay together, at least enough for me to finish my lunch. So the day has progressed and it's now late afternoon, about getting close to 6 p.m, and I've just decided to go for a little walk down to the other side of the beach. I'm not swapping camp, don't worry. I've settled on staying up the other end. Just felt like going for a bit of a walk to unwind and try and enjoy this amazing location. So I've just been working on a couple of other video projects up at camp because it seems impossible for me to come away on a trip like this and just do nothing. Always got to stay busy, and this trip is no exception. So the weather has held off, which has been great. Hasn't been raining despite the grey clouds all the way around. It is a little bit windy, but not really so much that it's going to be problematic. So that's one of the reasons why I've actually decided to stay camped up that side of the beach to test the new tent out in some more intense windy situations. So that's one of the things I loved about my old Dune soft top tent. It was so good during intense weather, and we had it tested through some crazy conditions, and it always held up fine. So the new tent, it's nice and fresh and untested. It's given me no reason to doubt that it would be fine during some more severe weather, but until you test these things out, you just never know. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, just gonna continue my walk and then head back over to camp. So the tide's definitely coming in. Thought I'd just stand up here to enjoy the view, and now I'm getting smashed by waves. And the GoPro is not even in its weatherproof case, so I think I better jump down out of here before A, I get soaked, or B, the GoPro gets some water damage. Whew, now I'm fresh. Don't need a shower anymore, just stand by these rocks. So the sun has gone down and I've set the tent up, so I'm pretty much locked into this position for now at least. It's just started sprinkling with rain on and off, so I figured now's the time to get dinner sorted. That way I don't have to worry about setting up the awning and then packing it away again before I head to bed. So for dinner tonight, I'm keeping things nice and simple and just making some burgers. Just gonna chuck those on the hot plate, whack them in a couple of buns with a bit of salad, and away we go. So you guys might have noticed that instead of using a traditional gas bottle, I'm actually using these little propane tanks instead that just screw into the side of the cooker. The reason for that is they're just so much more convenient to carry around, but I've never really used them for like my main source of gas. So far so good though. They don't seem to affect the way the cooker runs, but they're so much more convenient for carrying them, but then also just kind of attaching them on the side. They rest on my little platform here and I don't have to run any gas leads down to the ground. So very, very good, but yeah, time will tell how much life I actually get out of one of those little tanks. Anyway, gonna get my dinner sorted out and then probably jump into bed pretty early so I can kick off tomorrow bright and early. There we go, dinner is served and looking pretty good. A couple of tasty burgers, pretty much a camping staple for me. Also, I probably shouldn't sit down that ferociously on this chair, should I, with its missing bolt through there, but at least so far it's staying together. In other positive news, the rain has managed to remain not happening, which is good. I'm just hoping it holds off just long enough for me to eat my burgers and then jump into bed. I'm also pretty cold because I feel a bit underprepared this trip. I haven't packed enough warm clothes, that's for sure. I've got this this jacket on this and these long pants. That's pretty much it in terms of my warm weather gear. Didn't even pack a beanie, so I don't know why I'm so disorganized this trip. Maybe because I was already down south for work and then kind of added this trip on to the end of that. But anyway, I am keen to eat these burgers and then jump into the tent. Ah, that's better, nice and safe out of the wind and tucked up in the tent. And I tell you what, my first thoughts on how this new tent is holding up to relatively windy nights is super, super positive. I can't hear any material flapping, which is great news, and the whole structure seems to be holding its shape, which is what you want. So obviously it's not a cyclonic night out there, but certainly enough that I'd call it a windy night, that's for sure. So yeah, so far so good, but I'll fill you guys in the morning if anything changes. So my plan is now I'm going to start pulling guest footage off all the different SD cards from the GoPro, the main camera, and also the drone as well, to try and get a bit of a head start in the editing of these of this mini series. But before I do, I kind of just wanted to get your guys' opinions on what you want to see more of in these mini series episodes. Essentially, I worry that I don't really do enough to make them interesting for you guys to watch. So if there's certain elements of these videos you'd like to see more of, or even stuff that I haven't included that you'd like me to include in future, I'm all for trying to make these more enjoyable for you guys to watch. I suppose essentially for me, like, these trips are kind of about kind of chilling out and unwinding, because generally during the week I'm pretty busy, so this is kind of like a nice opportunity for me to slow down a bit and try and relax. In saying that, I always end up kind of working on 5 or 10 projects at a time, so never get that relaxation as the plan, as is the plan. But yeah, still have a lot of fun anyway. But I just thought I'd touch base with you guys to see if there's anything you'd like me to include a bit more of. But that's all for tonight, so thank you for checking out the first day of this little trip, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. The leg of my pants is so wet, and it's like, it's not the material that dries fast, so I think I'm gonna be wet for the whole weekend now. I've got one more pair of pants, so I might have to make a switch to those and try not to stand on any rocks that are about to get smashed by waves in those.